welcome to episode 7 of the Ladywing Crafts podcast. My name is Zakia, and you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry at Ladywing Designs. You can email me if you need to at ladywingdesigns@gmail.com. And we have a Ravelry group. If you go to the groups tab and search Ladywing Crafts podcast, you can find us there. Welcome back to any old viewers, and hi and welcome to any new viewers. I hope you find something you like. Today is Saturday, December the 30th, so the end of the year, and yeah, so some admin stuff. We are having our first knit along, and I've already put the chatter thread up in the Ravelry group, and I'll be sure to link it down below. But it will be our spring garment knit along, and so the point of this is to kind of get ready for spring and a little bit of summer, I guess, if you live in a place where you can wear hand knits in the summer. But light sweaters, so think like fingering weight. This is like a worsted weight, so maybe not this, more like fingering weight yarns, your thinner yarns. And so light sweaters, cardigans, vests, ponchos, capes, just anything. Think more of like spring or fall weather, something that you would just use to kind of cover up, and not necessarily like a giant sweater that you would wear in the middle of winter. So that's all in the group. All of the details are already in the chatter thread. So that's happening. Oh, the dates for that are January the 14th through April the 30th. And again, all the details and how to be eligible for prizes are in the thread. You can find show notes in the down bar below. And I will also have a link to the Ravelry group where you can also find show notes for all of the episodes. I think that's all I wanted to say. Oh, for the knit along, if any of you makers or pattern designers would like to donate a prize, feel free to contact me, but no pressure. Between me and Melissa, I think we can definitely find something awesome for you guys. So let's go ahead and get started with Showin Off, because I'm wearing a hand knit sweater, and I'm on a bed, so I'm not gonna try to like stand up so you guys can see it, because the laptop would have an earthquake. But this is my flax sweater by Tin Can Knits, and I did it a couple months ago, well, a few months ago in August, and this is Plymouth Yarns, their Homestead Tweed. Is that right? Yeah, Homestead Tweed. And the colorway is Thistle Tweed. It's a really pretty like lavender purple, and I love it. And it's got, I did do the garter all the way down the sleeves. And yeah, I love this. This was my very first sweater, and it was a good idea to do this one. I think it was worsted weight. It was super simple. The pattern's very easy to read, very easy to follow and understand, so it was great. I do understand now. I've been binge watching a lot of podcasts, and I do understand now why some people don't like raglan sleeves, because you can see it kind of like opens at the neck, like it's showing a little bit of my bra straps, but it doesn't bother me too much compared to like my birthday sweater that has set-in sleeves, and it doesn't really do this. But this doesn't bother me too much. I still think that raglans would save me a lot of time because I don't like sewing in sleeves, and no thank you. So I love it. What else was I going to say about this? I think that's it. I used a size US 7 for the body, and I think I did a US 4 for all of the ribbing, but I'll link to my project pages below as always and in the show notes, so you guys can go to my project page and look at all the details there. So, oh yeah, I forgot to say, how have you guys been? It's been a little while since I've actually recorded. Earlier this week I finally adulted and got my life together, and edited and uploaded the episode that Melissa and I did a couple weeks ago. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Editing it was actually a lot of fun. I think we're going to do it a little, not too often, but I think we will do it more because that was really fun to kind of have a co-host. And I realized that I can knit while she's talking and I can kind of be productive. I wanted, oh, see, yeah, like slightest movements will like earthquake the whole camera. But no, before in the intro you'll see me working on my blanket because I realized I was in the middle of a square and I was like, oh, I can knit while I do the intro parts, but it wasn't going to be long enough. I still had most of the square to go, so benefits of having a co-host, I guess. But anyway, moving on to finished objects, because I have three to show, well, three to show you guys. There's a fourth one, but it was a Christmas present that's already been given. So since I'm already holding them up, these are my, well, hold on, I'll change one of them around. But these are my Mischief Managed socks, and this yarn is the Mischief Managed colorway by Nomadic Yarns, and oh my gosh, I am still very much in love with these socks so much. They're amazing. I love it. The colorway is just awesome. And so you can see I did an afterthought heel, and I still haven't woven in my ends at all. Matter of fact, none of these socks, all of my finished objects are socks, and none of them have ends woven in. Yeah, because the ones that are here are all for me, so I don't care. I'll weave them in whenever I wear them. But yeah, so these are these finished socks, and my heel is this very pretty gray. It matches really well. And the gray is the Grey Goose colorway from Super Crafty Girl. I just got her 75-25 base. I think that's Oasis. I think that's her Oasis base. But yeah, so I finished these. My sock recipe for myself is 56 stitches. So I do toe-up socks generally. You'll see that in a second. I will talk about that more. But these are toe-up, and I cast on 10 using Judy's Magic Cast On, and then I increase to 56 stitches. And I think that's pretty much all I wanted to say about my recipe. I do these on 1.5 millimeters, which is a US 000. Yeah, extremely tiny because I'm a very loose knitter, but that's those. And this is how much yarn I have left. I can't remember exactly how many grams this is. I could reach over and like weigh it, but it's not that big a deal. But yeah, so this is how much I have. A decent bit of yarn, basically is what I'm trying to say. There's a decent bit of yarn left, and I found a pattern. It's called the Brioche Hair Kerchief, and I don't remember the designer, but I'll put it across the screen. And I have, if you guys remember, oh, it's too far across the room. If you guys remember my Oracle, the like dark gray color, that was Lolo did it in the Folsom colorway, and I still have some of that left, so I'm going to use that, use this as like the forefront color and that gray as the background color to make that kerchief. So that'll be fun. I think I have just enough left of both colors that I can do that. So next, is this what I finished next? I don't remember. These might not be in order, in chronological order, but so, okay, sorry. This is also retail therapy because you guys haven't seen this. So at the last minute, I broke my rule again and bought some yarn. I've been doing really well though. I've only broken the rule twice for myself, and I'm kind of glad that I did for this one. So Melissa was telling me about Jinx yarn, and I went on there to get her gingerbread house colorway, but she only had it left in her, is it Glitz? Is that what the name of her base is? It was her sparkle base. And it was pretty, but I didn't want it in the sparkle base. Or No, I think maybe she only had it with a mini. I can't remember, but for some reason I was like, no, I'm good. I think it was because I already had enough Christmas yarn that I wasn't even bringing home, so I didn't want to buy another skein of it. But this is her new Christmas colorway for this year, and I love it because I love non-traditional Christmas colorways. So this is Jinx yarn in her, wow, of course now I can't remember the base. I'll put it on the screen. But this is the Cheers colorway. And this was her new Christmas colorway for this year. And I love it. And actually with, my mom loves this too. And so with the rest of this yarn, I'm going to, I think I have just enough to make her like a little pair of wristers. And I'll pop on screen the name of the pattern that I already found one that I think I'm going to use. But I think I have just enough because she said she doesn't want them really long, thank goodness. So, again, my ends are not woven in. And these have a lot of ends actually, because I did afterthought, or not afterthought, I did do afterthought heels, but I was trying to say contrast toes and heels. So let me, yeah, I'm never gonna buy sock blockers, guys. I block my socks on my feet, so just bear with me. But so fun fact about these socks, I did them cuff down. So that was kind of exciting. The not so exciting part was that I don't know if I was just super relaxed or what, but I usually I knit at 8 stitches to the inch on my socks, and on these, so I cast on 56 because that's how many stitches I always end up using. But because I was getting 7 stitches to the inch instead of my usual 8, it was, I measured my gauge and I was like, this is going to be too big. So so I did my ribbing, and then in the stockinette was when I noticed it and measured for it. And so you can kind of see I did some pretty quick decreases because the leg was already pretty long before I kind of realized that my gauge was off. So this appears 56, and then I increased a couple times, or decreased a couple times to get down to 48 stitches, which is how many I have to use when I'm at 7 stitches per inch. And then, sorry, things are popping on my computer screen while I'm trying to podcast. But yeah, so then I decreased down to 48, and I placed the marker for my heel and kept going. And then I did a contrast toe, and both the toe and the heel are, again, super crafty girl this is her halo colorway. I just bought like little minis from her, little minis in solid colors to use for my socks. But yeah, so these were supposed to be my Christmas socks, but I did not feel, and they were done before Christmas. They were done way before Christmas, but I didn't feel like weaving in the ends. But it was fine. I could have still worn them again. Like, it's me. I've done that before. Just worn socks when I know I need to weave in ends, but I didn't feel like doing that, and then I kind of forgot about them. They just sat in my bag, so that's okay. Um, they're non-traditional enough that I know I can totally wear them without it being Christmas, and no one will look at them and say, "Oh, that's Christmas." I think the yellow really does a good job of making them more non-traditional. And my gauge was off a little bit between the two of them. You can kind of see one sock is, well, maybe you can see, one sock is a little bit bigger than the other, more than a little bit. So that was kind of disappointing, but yeah, I actually enjoyed doing cuff down, and I did do these on 1.5 millimeters as well. But I actually enjoyed doing cuff down. Um, like I didn't have any issues with it or anything. I've discovered, I was telling Melissa, I'm more inclined. Sorry, I'm like messing with my clothes and stuff. Sorry, guys. Um, but I apparently am more inclined to do a contrast toe if I do cuff down socks. Whenever I do toe up, I never want to cast on and then like deal with the extra ends so far down, you know, like by the bottom when you don't have a lot of fabric. And so apparently I need to knit a few more cuff down socks when it comes to like my self-striping colorways, because they might actually get some contrast toes in as well. But that's those. Next, I just finished these a couple days ago. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw I did kind of like a chronology of kind of how my Christmas Eve went as far as my knitting, and I finished them the other day. So these are my Christmas Eve cast on socks, and that of course is hosted by by Danny of Little Bobbins Knits, where you basically cast on. A lot of people always think it's that you have to cast on socks, which is how it started. Danny always cast on socks on Christmas Eve, and so she kind of shared that tradition with us, and it took off. But I think it's evolved enough. A lot of people that I saw that were using the hashtag and just on my feed were not casting on socks. They were casting on other things, and I think that's totally fine. Like, it's just called Christmas Eve cast on, not Christmas Eve sock cast on. So it doesn't have to be socks. It doesn't have to be super specific to that. But anyway, so these are the Neville sock pattern by Erica Luter, and I've told you guys before, I always take the chart, because this is a cuff down pattern, and you know I always take the chart and like flip it and then just kind of like rewrite the chart for myself, and it's a free pattern. So this is what I did here. So when you look at the actual pattern, it will look like this. When you're reading the pattern, like the diagonals are first, and I am very OCD about wanting my socks to look as close as possible, like how the pattern shows up when they're worn. I like them to look like it does on the pattern page, which is why I flip it upside down. I basically make extra work for myself. No one would know, but yeah. So anyway, so that's what I did, and then I also had to chart it out because the pattern is written for 64 stitches, and that was 8 too many. So I cut 4 stitches off of each side of the chart, and so I definitely had to rechart it then. That way I didn't mess it up by looking at the pattern on there. So yeah, so I did that so this is 28 stitches across so that it fit. And then I didn't bother in the leg. I did work these toe up, and I didn't bother in the leg like increasing to get the whole repeat in. I just didn't feel like dealing with that. So it's just usual 56 stitches. Like I said, I did these toe up on 1.5 millimeter needles, and on these I did my second ever German short row heel. And I actually really love this heel because in yarns like this, where I'm just like, I want to use up as much of the skein as possible, I don't have to like put in an afterthought heel, which, you know, because I don't always like, even if I did it in the same yarn, which would be fine, I don't always like stopping to mark where I am sometimes and then having to come back and do the heel. Sometimes I just want to get through the whole thing. Like, I want to be able to cast off on this leg and just be done. So that's really awesome because I can get to where I need for the heel, put the heel in, and like it's done. And I don't have to go through all the trauma of gusset increases because I don't like doing those. They fit me great, but I don't necessarily like having all the stitches on the needle. So I'm loving the German short row heel. And just to show it off, this is my little sweater stitch marker. And did I tell you guys? Okay, I did tell you the yarn on the other ones. I didn't tell you the yarn on these though. This is Teeny Button Studio, her Harry Potter Mystery Yarn Club. This is the December colorway, and the colorway is Weasley Christmas Jumper. So I love this. And Melissa also, she's the reason why I bought it. But she also got this colorway, this Mystery Yarn Club, and this was both of our Christmas Eve cast-ons. And I think she's still working on hers, but yeah. So those are done, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. It will be going in my blanket, but other than that, I don't have any plans for it yet, so we'll see. I still have a decent bit left over too. Oh, and then the other finished object, I was like, I know I'm forgetting something. The other finished object is the socks that I was knitting for my boyfriend, and I will pop a picture in here. So I finished these. I was successful in my goal. I finished them before I came home for Christmas, and yeah, it was great. He loved them. He doesn't want any more socks for a while, which is perfectly fine. I need to stop complaining about knitting him socks. It's really not that bad because I do knit fast enough that it doesn't take forever if I have time to knit. But yeah, so I got those done, and I do have the rest of the yarn for his socks, but it's in a bag across the room. But anyway, it's all in the show notes again, and I'll link to my project page in the show notes. So you can go there to see what yarn it is and how much I had left over. I did do a heel flap and gusset on his. They were worked on 1.5 millimeter needles, which is my usual. Because I was going to do it on 1.75 millimeter, but I chose the smaller size because I wanted it to be as tight of a fabric as possible, which was also because I wanted them to wear longer, because like when he's wearing them in his shoes to go to work and that type of thing, which is also why I did a heel flap and gusset with the slip stitch heel in the back, because hopefully, you know, when they're rubbing against his shoes, they won't wear down as fast. So, because it's not necessarily a workhorse yarn that I used for his socks. So, okay, I think that's all of the FOs. So, I'm gonna move this stuff a little bit. Oh, yay, now we can kind of have a little bit of decoration in the background. I was gonna try to turn the laptop. I wanted to turn it this way because I had like Melissa's, the rest of Melissa's Advent minis over here for her, and like my scale and my yarn winder, but I didn't want the giant TV in the background. And then I was gonna turn it the other way with the window, and like there's a little couch over here. My mom has like a little canvas painting on the wall, but the sun, even with the blinds closed, it was too bright, and it was making me look very dark because it was trying to compensate for that. So I just turned this way, and at first I was gonna hang a shawl. I have my oracle, and I was gonna hang it on the wall, but I didn't want to use my mom's fancy craft tape that wouldn't take paint off the wall, and she said regular tape would take the paint off the wall. It was too much. I was just like, you know what? Doesn't matter. They are gonna be looking at my knitting anyway. So, yeah. So that's that. There was something else that I wanted to say earlier, but I can't remember what it was that I was supposed to say like during the intro. So if it comes to me, I'll say it. So, okay, whips. I'm going to show this one because it's sitting right in front of me, which it probably will just sit here because there's not really any other place for it to go. Anyway, so if you also have been on Instagram looking at my post, I have a pair of 2.5 millimeter signature needles. I lied to you. 2.75. I'm looking right at it and I cannot read it. 2.75 millimeter signature straight needles, and that's the tip on them. And Melissa gave me these because she was using, so on the last podcast, on the last episode, we were talking about our blankets, and she was saying she was using 2.75 millimeter, and then she went up a needle size to 3 millimeters, and she had bought these signatures to use on her blanket, and since I was still using, or am still using 2.75, she gave these to me to use, so that was kind of like a Christmas present, slash retail therapy for you guys, because they are new to me. But anyway, so let me get it on the right side. Okay, so here's my blanket, and it's huge, so it's gonna be really difficult to show you guys. Like all of it. It's beyond impossible to show all of it. So, yeah, see, I'm just kind of like fumbling around with it. But yeah, that's a good way to show it. So here it is, and here's down this way, because this is the top. So, it's going awesome. I've passed, is this the right side? Okay, so I've passed both of the corners. So this is the top right corner of the blanket, and you can see I'm working like across. I'm working in diagonals, filling it in, but as far as the top, I've reached that top point, and I'm filling it across. And the same thing on the side. This is the bottom left side of the blanket. And sorry guys, yarn fumes in the air, and I haven't taken my allergy pills yet because I was trying to avoid the sniffing, but I should have known with all the yarn. Not gonna help. But yeah, so on the sides I've also like reached that furthest point, so now it's just a matter of building up over here too. So yeah, I'm working across in diagonals, back and forth, to fill it in, because that way each row that I'm doing is one less square, and so it really feels like I'm making more progress than if I was working across in rows or working up and down in strips. It's really helping me out. Plus, the way I did this also, because now I can just pick up stitches and knit. I don't have to like cast on anything at all. So my recipe for this, like I said, I'm using 2.75 millimeter needles. I pick up 55 stitches. So I'm picking up 27 from this side, 1 from like the center decrease. So the way I do mine, like the very last thing that I do on the front side is a center double decrease with the last 3 stitches. So when I go to pick up, I pick up 1 from this, 1 from that decrease, right, that last decrease, and then I pick up the other 27 from over there. Yeah, and then I knit the very next row, the return row. I knit that entire row, both the middle stitch and like the very end. I just knit across the whole row to kind of set myself up. And then when I turn around, I'm on the right side, I start working in the pattern. So I do a center double decrease, and then on the back side I'm purling so that you have this really pretty ridge. Yeah, so I am at my total blanket will be 143 squares, and I'm at less than 50 squares left. I'm so excited. So my goal was to get this done by the end of the year, which would be tomorrow night. That will not happen. It was possible, but I've just been very tired this past week, and it was starting to stress me out because I knew I was falling behind and I was trying to catch up, but again, you know, when you're already behind and you're still really tired, it was just really difficult to catch up on stuff. So I had to just kind of let that go and accept that it wasn't going to happen without me causing major stress to myself. So I've accepted it, and it's actually easier for me to work on it now and be like, oh, I just kind of want to work on my blanket. Because I'm not stressing about, well, when am I going to have it done? So that's really nice. So yeah. I'm loving it. My mom loves it too, and she was like, oh no, I want this one. She's not getting this one because this one is just really special to me. It has a lot of minis from Melissa and a lot of yarns from my projects, and it has my first 2 advent calendars in it, or 3 if you count the 12 pane set. But yeah, you know, it's just really special to me, and it's the first one, and I'm gonna keep this. I thought at first, oh, well, I could surprise her and, like, you know, give it to her, finish it and give it to her. No. I really want this for myself, so I'm keeping it. But I'd already planned to do another one anyway, pretty much as soon as I finish this one, I'm gonna start another one. Because I'm gonna have enough scraps. I still have scraps. Some yarns from this, I still have scraps from them. So this will work out well. So she told me what size to measure it off of. So I'm going to take this blanket and because she wants the same exact size squares. So I'm going to take it and like hang it up where we were using to measure how how big she wants it. And I'll do hers because I think she wants more of a lapcan size. This is for a queen size bed, so hers will be smaller anyway. But okay, this has to sit in front of me. There's nowhere else. But anyway, yeah, so that's the blanket. And so Melissa gave me this bag, my Ravenclaw bag, and in it I am holding all of the minis that we wound up from her stash for me. And basically what I'm doing, I have it sitting up like this next to me when I'm working, and when I finish a square, I will just like dig my hand in here and like pull out a mini, and that's the one that I'm using next in the blanket. And then when I'm done, some of the minis there we wound off a little too much, and some of them, there were some that I had, like some Halloween minis and things that I was still using, and so they had way more than the 8 grams that I need. And so I'm throwing them in here because I can use these for Mom's blanket. And then some squares I didn't wind off enough from Melissa's minis, so I've been kind of like filling in the rest of the squares with these. That's what I was trying to say. And this is an Erin Lane bag that I got while I was in Nashville over the summer, and it's houndstooth. If you know me, I'm a Bama fan. It's houndstooth. So that's been making me really happy. And while we're on the topic of minis, in my Quirky Monday Crafts sock bag, this is my Starry Night bag. I love it. So my mom thinks I have way too many project bags. I do have a lot, but like compared to some people, like I'm doing good. I think I only have like 10, like 12 at the most, like actual project bags that I've ordered like from crafters, not necessarily ones that I've gotten from like Walmart and Michael's. I think I've only got like 10 or 12 of them, so that's not a lot. Like, and I'm not like, throwing shame at other people. Like, totally have as many project bags as you want if that's your thing, but like I have nowhere near as many project bags as other people, so she needs to like calm down. But anyway, so in my bag, so I don't remember, I think I might have showed you guys this on the last podcast with Melissa, but in this bag, so when I was doing my Advent minis every day, I would wind them up, because they were like 20 grams, 25 grams, so I wound them up on my Swift and ball winder to make them easier to use. Then I put them in my blanket, and then after I was finished, I would wind off the 8 grams that Melissa needed for her blanket, because I gave her a mini of all of my Advent minis, and then the rest of them I would throw over in here. So this is all of my Advent minis, both from Lavender Loon and from Bay Street Yarns, and also the 12 Pain minis, because they were basically Christmas Advent too. So the 12 Pains minis from Super Crafty Girl are also over in here. And this is strictly my Advent minis. It's a ton of them. But they're all in here. And with them, where did I put it? With them, I am doing Advent socks. So these are not what you usually see as far as Advent socks. Usually people have like really tiny, like, little bits and stripes of all of their colors. I did not want to have, like, obviously I still got a lot to go. I've only done this one sock, but I do not want to have a ton of like little scraps left over, because, and I thought about it, I could use them for my mom's blanket, but none of these are all like 5 or 6 grams, 7 at the most. So this is not enough to use for my mom's blanket if she wants the size square. So I am just joining them. I looked up how to do a magic knot, and so I'm just starting with the toe. I'm doing these toe up with a heel flap and gusset on 1.5 millimeters as usual, 56 stitches. But anyway, so I'm just using up, you can see here I'm using up all of the mini, and then I change colors, and then I use up all of the mini, and then I'm just magic knotting them all together when I get to the end of a strand, and that's how it's going to work. So I'm going to have a ton of socks, because I had 36 minis. And one of them I split in half. It had like 10 grams left over, and there were another couple that did that too, but I didn't split those up. So I have like 37 minis. This one only took 4 minis before I was like, okay, I feel like this is long enough, I'm done. Um, so I'm gonna have a ton of socks just from my Advent socks, which makes me kind of want to rethink my sock resolution for next year, which I'll talk to you about a little later. But yeah, so this is happening, and I'm just doing a ribbed. Trying to see if I can get it flat enough for you guys to see the front. So I'm just doing a rib pattern on these. I wanted to do a 6x2 rib, but with 56 stitches that doesn't work out evenly. So what I'm doing, I do, and this is on my project page as well, but I do knit 1, purl 2, and then knit 6, purl 2, knit 6, purl 2, knit 6, purl 2, and then knit that last one on the edge, which works out well because I really like doing purl stitches at the beginning or at the very end of the row. And I'm doing magic loops, so that works. And like I said, ooh, wow, yarn's flying in my eyes. Wow. Anyway, so like I said, slip stitch, heel flap, and gusset. And on the leg, I'm doing the ribbing all the way around. So yeah, these are really quick too. I think that might be what I work on today. Yeah, I have a lot of stuff that I need to be doing, and I'll talk about that in some more in Cravin It. But so that was the first sock. I cast that. That was supposed to be my second Christmas Eve cast on, but I did not start that until technically Christmas Day. It was a little bit after midnight. But I finished that first sock on Christmas. It zoomed by. And so I went ahead and made myself cast on my second sock, so that I can't say, oh, well, you know, like, I'll get to it eventually, which I have still been saying, even though it's on the needles, but this will help, because I'm going to need these needles, in a little bit. But I'm using my, is this a peppermint mocha? Peppermint hot chocolate, maybe? I'm not exactly sure. It's a festive peppermint flavored drink of some kind. But it's my little stitch marker that I got in my Advent mini set from Bay Street Yarns. So yeah, I'm enjoying these though. Like I said, the rib pattern gives me a little bit of something to think about on the front, and the back is just stockinette when I'm on the foot, and it's super simple. So yeah, I might actually work on, I need to stop saying that. There's so many things that I need to work on today that I want to work on. I'm loving all of my projects right now. Okay, next whip is a new cast on, and again, if you follow me on Instagram, you would have already seen this. So it's being held in my fringe field bag. Lovely Melissa got me for Christmas, and you can see my little pins on there already. So this pin, I don't think I told you guys or even showed it. So in the Lavender Loon yarn set, the holiday mini kit, there was like a bag. There was like there was literally a bag. I think I showed it to you guys on the first podcast. There was a bag that looked like the rest of them, but instead of a number on the little tag, it said extras. And so there's some tuft woolens in there. There's a little like sample soap bar. I'm trying to remember. There was a couple of other things in there, and some of them I knew that I wouldn't use, and I was showing my mom, and so I gave them to her. I can't remember what they are now, but yeah, so I kept the soap because I need that more than she does with all of my hand knits that really need to be washed. But there was also this little celestial enamel pin, which she does sell in her shop. So I got one of those, which was awesome because I've seen them before and I think they're pretty, but you know, I didn't have a bag to put them on, so yeah. So anyway, this project is in my fringe bag when it travels with me. And I'll show you the yarn first. This yarn is the full skein that I got in the holiday kit from Lavender Loom. And this is the Hearthside colorway. It's beautiful. I love it so much. It's just like this neutral, like creamy base, and it has all of these splashes of color in it, and it's awesome. I really hope that she brings this back in the new year, maybe as a new colorway. I would love to do some brioche out of this. I'm gonna try to use most of the skein up on this project, but oh my gosh, I would love to do some brioche with this. It would be a really pretty like forefront color. Oh my gosh, I love this. Or even maybe a, well, no, maybe not a background color because of all the speckles. I would want this on the front. But anyway, so that's the yarn, and I'm using that to make the, it's stockinette, so it's gonna roll, guys, sorry. But this is how far I've gotten. You guys can't see that. On my Spindrift shawl, which is by Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade. And I really have not worked on this that much, but I'm loving it so much. It's a really pretty shawl if you have just that one skein that's maybe really variegated and you don't know what to do with it. This pattern, because it's just stockinette for most of it, and then it's got a little lace section at the bottom, it's really good for showing off those yarns. And that's what I wanted to do with this one, because it's such a pretty just cream with these little speckles. I really just wanted to show off the yarn. And I really wanted to make this pattern. I've been wanting to make it for a few weeks now. So this is how the yarn is working up. And oh my gosh, I love it. You can see it's already kind of long there. And I'm not done with the stockinette section yet. The stockinette section is exactly half of the shawl. For anyone that's worked from Helen Stewart's patterns, you know she has the stitch count and like the percentage of exactly where you are in the pattern, like row by row. So when I finish the stockinette section following the pattern, that'll be exactly 50%, but depending on how much yarn I've used up when I get there, I might do a few extra stockinette rows, because I'm really trying to use up as much of this as possible. So I might do a few more stockinette rows before I start the lace. So yeah, but I'm loving this. When I realized that my Cozy Memories blanket was causing me a lot of stress, I just stopped in the middle of the night and I cast this on, and I stayed up till 4 a.m. working on it that night because it was just making me happy. I'm loving. I haven't done a stockinette. I haven't done. Well, okay, I did my Bindi Arrow, but like it was garter stitch. I haven't done a stockinette shawl in a really long time, and I really miss it. I'm enjoying this so much. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to hopefully some more stockinette. Not necessarily shawls, but just in general. The pearl return rows are way more like comforting than I remembered them being. So this is helping a lot. And I'm using US size 3, which is 3.25 millimeter. So that's just kind of been like my project that I work on, and I'm like, okay, I need to just do something simple, because it's literally just stockinette except for the ends where you do the increases. So that's been really helpful. Okay, wait, is that all of my whips? Oh, so I did want to mention my velvet twig socks, which I did show in the last episode. I have not worked on those, I don't think, since that episode, actually. I did bring them because I did want to finish them, but they are not done yet. So, yeah. So, they're pretty much still in the same spot, and I was going to bring them over here to take out of the bag and actually show you guys, but I'm not going to get them. I forgot to bring them over here. But anyway, yeah, so that's all of my whips. So let's move on to Cravin It, because, guys, there's a lot. So, what do I want to do first? So, okay, so let's do these, because these are Christmas presents. and depending on when I go home and if I podcast again before I leave to go back to school, you guys may or may not see these, like me working on them. Because these are basically Christmas presents, and I'm not going to take the yarn. I'll take leftovers, but I don't want to take the yarn back to have to work on projects. So I have 2 skeins of this Lang Jowl yarn. And this is, I've used 2 other colorways out of this before, or 3. One for Richard's socks, my boyfriend. I made him some socks out of one. I made myself some socks out of one. And I can actually show you the yarns. They're all in my blanket. Because there were 4 colorways, I was like, oh, that would be cool if I did like one of these in each corner. That's what I'm sticking to. But this is the colorway that I did for a pair of socks for Richard. It's just like a black with green and yellow. And then these were the socks that I did for myself. And this is the colorway for the socks that I did for my mom. Which I still have those socks. They're actually over there on the couch. And I realized that I never gave them to her because I still have to weave in the ends. So maybe she'll get this before I leave, right? I've been here a week and still haven't done it. I look at them every day and say, oh, I'll do it later. But anyway, so this is Lang Jowl, and this is the one with the little reinforcement skein, which I do use. I have been using them. So I have 2 of these skeins, and I was going to do a pair of socks for my brother and a pair of socks for my dad, but they said that, oh, excuse me, guys. They said that they would rather have hats because they would wear them more often. And in my brother's case, I know that he's not going to want to hand wash these because it is actually 75% wool and 25% nylon, and I know that he's not going to want to hand wash them. So I said, you know what, never mind, they both want hats. So I did find a hat pattern. It's the Erie hat. I don't remember the designer. It'll be across here, but it's DK weight. So I have 2 of these, and I'm gonna wind both. I might not wind the cakes up. I might just work from the balls and like just keep them in a project bag or something. But I'm gonna hold this. This is fingering weight, so I'm gonna hold it double and knit their hats. So their hats will be first. My mom, and here's the colorway if you guys couldn't see it that well. This side is showing up really true to color. So based on the pattern, I'm holding it double. I will have enough yarn. Actually, I take that back. I might not have enough because I'm holding it double. So I have 2 of these, which would make it like 840 meters. But if I'm holding it double, that means I don't have as much. Crap. Oh well. So my mom really likes these colors, and she was saying, oh, well, if you have enough, can I have a hat too? And my plan was, oh, that would be cute if we had matching hats, but I don't think I'll have enough now that I think about that. But I don't think she'll mind. But yeah, so my dad and my brother will be getting socks out of, or not socks, hats out of that yarn. And then my mom asked, I mentioned this in the last episode, my mom asked for some boot sacks. And so I brought this yarn home so she could tell me if this was the color that she wanted. And it is. So this is Patton's Croy socks. And I like this. It really feels like it's going to be a good workhorse yarn, so it'll last a while. And I have 2 skeins of this as well, because these are 50-gram balls. And this colorway, this is the flax colorway. Look at that, we got a flax thing going on. Flax yarn, flax sweater. But yeah, so I really need to get cracking on these because I only have either a week or a week and a half before I'm going back to Alabama, and I need to get these done if they're going to be boot socks. So, yeah, and I'm just hoping that I definitely have enough yarn for that because I only have 2 balls, and I got it while I was in Alabama at Michael's because we don't have a Michael's here in Tennessee where my parents are. So hopefully that'll all work out. Okay, so one of my knits for the spring garment cow is going to be the Rosemont cardigan, which me and Melissa both talked about. We were going to make it anyway for ourselves. We were going to do kind of like a personal knit along. And then I said, hey, what if we just do like an actual knit along? So yeah, so that's happening now. So my first project for it is going to be out of Knit Picks Wool of the Andes in the Delft Heather colorway. And this is the worsted weight for the Rosemont cardigan. And this is what the yarn looks like. And no, I have not started, guys. This is what the yarn looks like. That's pretty true to color. It reminds me of blue jeans. It's got like a really good purple undertone in it though. So I swatched, and we're kind of getting ready at this point. I think Melissa is going to cast on today actually, but I'm going to wait because House Cup starts back, the winter term starts in 2 days. And I'm thinking about possibly doing another advanced studies because of course craft all the things. So I'm waiting at least for term to start and the class proms to go up because I might want to use this for something in that. Plus this would be a lot of yardage. And I have to wait until the 1st to cast on to be able to use it for a class or anything. So I'm just waiting to cast mine on. But anyway, so I swatched. I did go ahead and swatch, which is what we were doing the last couple of days. So I started down here, and I was using, the pattern calls for a size 9 for the body. You're supposed to do the gauge in the larger needles that you're going to use, and I'm a loose knitter, so I knew I was going to have to go down a needle size anyway, so I went down to a size 8 just to see what it was like. And the fabric itself, excuse me, so the fabric itself is a little too open and airy for what I wanted, and this is pre-blocking. Like I haven't, you can see it's rolling. I have not blocked this at all. So it was a little too airy for what I liked. It wasn't like close enough. I guess you could say. Sorry guys, I have the hiccups. Everything is happening while I'm trying to finish this podcast. But yeah, so I didn't even oh my gosh. Okay, hold on guys, just hold on a second. Okay, I'm back. I have a Sprite. Like I said, I'm sitting on the bed. And okay, did you guys see that? I'm facing like away from the headboard, but I have a Sprite up there to combat my hiccups. So anyway, so I was saying, and you can kind of see it too right here. I'm holding it up in front of the door, so you can see it, like how you can totally like see through that pretty well, and I didn't like that, so I just went ahead and stopped. And I did actually measure the stitch gauge, and I was getting 17 stitches, which is what you're supposed to have in the stockinette after blocking. So I was like, yeah, no, because I don't know if I'm going to block it when I'm done or not, but if I do, like, you know, this would make it bigger because it's already at 17 and then it's going to stretch. And it was, like I said, really thin, or kind of see-through, so I didn't like it. So then I discovered that I did not have my size 7 needles with me. They're in a project in my apartment. So I went down to a size, I'm sorry guys, there's like yarn flying everywhere. So, oh my goodness. So anyway, I went down to a size 6 to swatch, and you can kind of see, this one is still kind of see-through, but the actual like look of it and feel of it, I love it. It's a lot better than the 8, let me just say that. The 8, like even without doing anything, it's just really open, and the 6 is a little tighter for me. So I think, and I'm getting, I didn't measure, I do need to actually measure my row gauge. I didn't do that, but I did measure the stitch gauge, and I'm getting 18 stitches. per inch. And honestly, I mean, I will measure the row gauge, but I think that whatever it is, I still will just go with the size 6 because it's supposed to be a positive ease sweater, and I like big comfy sweaters. So, and it's top down, so like if I get to the point where I'm like, no, I think this is long enough and I don't want to do kind of like to the end of the pattern to whatever she says to knit to, I don't have to do that because it is top down. So I think I'm just going to go with the 6s. And I totally could, like, knowing that I could cast on today because I do have the needle tips and I have a cord that I could use. But, like I said, I'm just going to wait on the house cup. So, there's my gauge swatch for my Rosemont cardigan. And like I said, that's kind of my entry for the spring garment cowl. My first one anyway. I have lots of garments that are going to happen in the next few months because I realized that I have 5 sweater quantities. So I went ahead kind of to better organize myself so I wouldn't always have to be like, okay, what pattern did I say I wanted to knit? So I went ahead on Ravelry and I started this is just like on my profile, I started a bundle called 2018 Garments, and I have 17 garments in there. Not all of them will get knit by any means because that's a lot of sweater quantities to buy, which is one of my goals, to buy more sweater quantities, but I'm not going to try to buy that many, you know? So anyway, yeah, so I started a bundle and I have been like in the notes, you know, when you say favorites, you can add little notes, and I've been putting the colorway, like whatever yarn it is that I have that I want to use for that. And it turns out that I have 5 that I can use. So that's pretty awesome. Anyway, so next Cravin It is my Arithmancy OWL for the Harry Potter Knit and Crochet House Cup, which I talked about this on the last episode as well. And I'm going to, I need to flip back to look at a list that I had so I tell you guys the right ones. But anyway, so for right now, they might not stay in here, but for right now, all of the yarns for this in my oh my gosh, what is this? Aggie's bags, okay. Oh gosh, in my Aggie's fall bag. And so like I said on the last episode, for my Arithmancy OWL, I'm doing the multiples option. So you have to knit 8 of the same item, and for this the pairs rule does not count. So I can do 4 pairs of adult size mid-calf length socks, and that I can do 4 pairs, and that will count as 8 items. Thank goodness. So I am doing kind of a cable intensive set of socks, and wow, this yarn is soft. Okay, anyway. So I'm just gonna like show you guys because I did go ahead and because I have to swatch with all of these, and I wanted to show you guys my yarn before I caked it up, because you'll see it caked up because you know you'll see it while I'm working on them. So I wanted to show you guys while they're all still in this skein, and you've seen most of these before from Retail Therapy, but I just figured I'd show them to you again. So this is, okay, well wait, which pattern am I using it for? So one of the sock patterns that I'm doing is the speckled space socks, and for that I'm going to be using Lofty Loops, which is an Etsy shop, and this is her sock base, which is 80/20 merino nylon, superwash merino nylon, and this is her Sally colorway. And I've been saving this for a really good project, and this is happening. This is going to be beautiful speckled space socks. So that's what I'm going to do for that pattern. And then next is where am I? So the cable ship sock pattern. I'm going to be using Cortabella yarns, and she has a, oh, there it is. So she is I knit to, I purl to on Etsy and on Instagram. And I'll pop that on the screen. The shop name is different than what her tags say, but Portobello Yarns. And this is her Glitz, and you can actually see that sparkle on the screen too. This is the Glitz sock base, and the colorway is Monster Mash. So this is 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and 5% stellina. So, and I won't take this tag off, you're pretty much seeing all of the colors, but you can, okay, well, you could see the sparkle. Now you're not going to be able to see it, but anyway, you can, yeah, you can kind of see it as I'm turning it here. But anyway, so, okay, that's showing up more of a yellow. That is a green. It is like a neon green, not a yellow. Yeah, so that's that sock pattern. And the next one is the Viking socks. And I don't remember any of the designers for these, but again, it's all on screen. So the Viking socks, I will be using Stranded Dye Works on her Oasis base, which is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And this is the Koi colorway, which I've wanted for a really long time, and I thought that I actually was going to use this colorway for the Spindrift shawl. But then I realized that I don't really wear this color that often, so instead I'm going to use it for some socks. Because I've really been thinking, like, if I'm going to knit a shawl, because I do actually wear my shawls all the time when I'm going out and it's kind of chilly, or even if it's not and I just want to dress up, the first thing I reach for if I'm trying to dress up is a cowl or a shawl. And so I've really been trying to think, like, okay, but am I going to wear this? If I knit it as a shawl, am I going to have outfits that I can wear it with? And I don't wear this color too often. But yeah, that's kind of true to color down there. It's just a really like pinky, beigey kind of base with these speckles over it and some oranges. So I love that. That's going to be those socks. And then I'm also doing the I Love You More Than Pumpkin Spice socks. I do know the designer for these. It is CC Almond. And for these, I'm going to be using Cascade Heritage Stock Yarn, which is again 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And the color number is 5646. And the colorway name is Pumpkin. And so I figured, hey, the name of it is Pumpkin, and I really love the I Love You More Than Pumpkin Spice pattern. I don't drink coffee, so I don't drink pumpkin spice lattes, but I just thought it was cute. So I'm going to do that because it is a bunch of cables as well. So that's happening. And I already just threw these in here. But I'm going to knit all of those socks on my US 000 1.5 millimeter ChowGoo mini twist needles. So, yay. Yeah, so that's all the yarn for my Arithmancy OWL, and actually, like, well, besides maybe the Monster Mash, these three all like really go together. So I thought that was kind of funny. Okay, now I have to like stuff them all back in this bag. Yeah, so that's happening. So sorting happened while I'm putting these back in this bag. Sorting happened 2 days ago, and that was really exciting. I coincidentally was online and like actually like looking at the group when sorting was happening, so I got to like load the new post in the thread and see like sorting actually happening, and it was great. That was really fun to watch. So I did get Slytherin again. I did not ask to transfer houses this term. Honestly, I don't know if I ever will. I really like being a snake. But, you know, maybe, never say never. But, yeah, I didn't ask to move, so I did get Slytherin again, which was good since I am on Slytherin staff. And we've been getting our threads going and everyone's chatting, so that's been really fun. Let me make sure I've got everything. Oh, okay, so I did want to show this because this is technically, so this is both retail therapy and, oh, it's this one, and Cravin It at the same time. So, hold on just a second. So you guys know I've been talking a lot about Cozy Up with the Stitchin' Sisters, their podcast, and how they're doing. Their first mystery knit-along, and it's starting in 2 days. On January the 1st is when the first clue comes out. They've already put the pattern up on Ravelry, so you can go buy it to get kind of like the info sheet, so you can get your yarn ready and everything. So I bought 2 kits for this. Yeah, I don't need 2 kits, but I got 2 kits. And hey, worst case, I have yarn, and if I don't use it for this project, I have yarn. You know, there are a lot of 3-color shawls that I want to use, or it doesn't have to be a 3-color shawl, because, so with this project, with this pattern, they were telling you to make the shawl, they recommend you have 2 solid colors, and then, so they recommend that you have a variegated or a speckled skein, and then 2 coordinating solids or tonals. One of my goals has been, hey, I want more solids and tonals in my stash to use exactly for this type of thing, for shawls that and projects. That way, you know, I have yarn to put things with. So if I don't use it for this shawl, for this knit along, I'll have yarn. So you know, it's not necessarily a bad deal. But anyway, so the first one that I got, I could not resist because you guys know yellow is my favorite color, and I had to have it. This is like the perfect shade of yellow for me. So this is, I'll show it this way. Excuse the crinkling, by the way. So this is the, oh dear, I don't know if she had a name to the set or not. But this is a kit for the shawl from Midnight Cravings. And there's her little tag. Sorry for the gleam. I'm not gonna take it out of the plastic. I've just been, they've actually like still been in the Etsy bag and like the shipping bag and everything. Like I have not taken anything out yet. Because I don't know if I'm gonna start with them and keep up. I have a lot of projects that I'm trying to start, and as much as I really wanted to do this with the mystery, I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna happen. It might. I'm not trying to talk myself out of it at all. But with the stress that I've experienced in the last week with like my knitting and just trying to literally knit all the things and not having enough time, I just don't want to say. Honestly, I'm going to still try to do this with at least one of my kits, though. I've never done a mystery knit along, and I really want to do it. Anyway, so the yarn is from Midnight Cravings, and this is her Harvest colorway. This is, of course I can't see it. Yeah, I don't remember the name of this colorway. I'll pop it on the screen. And this is the Curtain Call colorway. So yeah, I love those. And you can't see it because it's in the bag. But this middle skein is sparkle yarn, and it has circled on here that it's silver. Yeah, it has circled on here that it's silver still in it. Oh my gosh, guys, I was right. Okay, this is the Cinema colorway. This is the Cinema colorway. And it says on here that it's silver stellina. It looks more gold, but maybe that was because of the dye, because there is like bits of this yellow over in here. But that is one of the kits that I got for the My Sister Shawl. I don't know if I said that the name of the pattern, but it's the My Sister Shawl MCal on Ravelry. So then I got another kit, and both of these yarn companies are in Canada. So I got them sent to my parents' house. That way they would definitely be here. Because I was actually going to like cast on January the 1st when the first clue came out. But I don't have enough of my cords here with me. Or actually I could start this and just kind of wait on the Rosemont. I might do that. Because the Rosemont is worsted weight, and I know when I really get started on it, I'm gonna zoom. Because I've really been excited about it. So, actually, never mind. No, I'm not. Never mind. I might have to wait and be behind by like a clue or maybe even 2 clues on this. I don't have enough of my needles and my cords with me. I did not plan accordingly for this, guys. Anyway, so the other kit that I got is from Comfy Cozy Knits, who, like I said, is also in Canada. And I love this because this is more of what I really love, my vibrant colors, and like it has my favorite color in there, so you know I was going to buy it. But this, I don't really wear a lot of yellow or even that shade of blue, so I got this because I said, hey, I could, if I really, I'm pretty sure that I'll love the pattern anyway, because I love all of their designs, but if I do end up making a second one, I can do it in this because these colors I actually wear more often. But yeah, when I cast on, when I do it the first time, I am going to use that other set. But yeah, so I like this set because I actually really wear a lot of these colors a lot. So this colorway is Royalty, this is Imperial, and this is Bordeaux. So, yeah, I love this. And this middle skein, none of these are sparkle. So, that is those. And then, the only other thing for retail therapy, it is yarn. It's not a yarn that I purchased, though. I don't know if I've mentioned that I got I signed up for a mystery yarn club, a Harry Potter mystery yarn club from Graceland Wool. And the October and November, I got it all sent to my parents' house. Because I was hoping that it would all be here before, you know, like when I got here, that way I could take it back when I left, because I wanted to open all three of them at the same time. But I have not received a shipping notification. At least I don't think that I've received a shipping notification saying that the December colorway has been shipped, so I don't think it's going to happen. I'll have to get the next one when I'm home for spring break or something, but anyway, so, yeah, so I have the October and November colorways here, and I'm going to open these really quick off camera so there's not a ton of crinkling, and then I'm just going to go ahead and open these and show you guys what they are. So here is, I'm actually going to take this off. I'm going to take the tag off before I hold up the yarn. So this is Graceland Wool Yarn and Fiber Company. That's her little tag. It's very elegant, very just clean cut. I love it. And so this is her everyday base, which is 75/25, of course. And the name of this colorway is Happy Birthday. And she just wrote Harry Potter on there for the club, and I just took took my little pen and wrote October on there, so that I know which month it is, just in case I'm wondering later, because I might put a note on my Ravelry page about it. But yeah, so that's what this is, and I love it. She spelled Happy Birthday like Hagrid did on the cake. Oh, let me see if I can find my little stitch marker that I have of the cake. Oh, that's the wrong bag. I have two different little bags, one for stitch markers and one for progress keepers. Anyway, yeah, I love that they like totally keep it authentic, so you can kind of see on there, maybe not really, how, well, kind of, just a little bit, how happy, it has two E's at the end. You can kind of see that. And birthday, instead of a Y, it has an E at the end, because that's how Hagrid spelled it on the cake. So yeah, kind of an authentic colorway name. So anyway, so this is the Happy Birthday colorway, and oh my gosh, you guys are actually, this is showing up true to color. It's like a minty green type color, and I'm just gonna hold it closer so you can see the speckles though. Very pretty. I love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. And right here there's more of that green. It's just blowing out right now. It's really bright, but there's more of it right there. So that is the October colorway. I'm never going to get this tag back around there right now, not on camera. So I'll show you guys the tag for November. Her tags are wrapped really tight around the yarn. Okay, there we go. So again, Grace Lamole. This is the, and again, she did write in green pen, but at the bottom I just wrote November just now. So this is the Yule Ball colorway, again on her everyday base. And this is really pretty. This is true to color too, actually. It's pinks with blues and speckles of, oh my gosh, you guys are seeing green. Maybe I need to like come home and podcast more often, just randomly pop up in the middle of the week. But yeah, so this is really pretty. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. This is not my color at all. At all. I am not a pink person. But, and I do love it. Like, you know, I'm not bashing the yarn or the dye or anything. It's a beautiful colorway, and I'm definitely not going to give it to anyone. More than likely, I say that. Maybe this will be, which is funny, pink is my least favorite colorway, or my least favorite color, but I have a decent amount of pink clothing in my wardrobe. Yellow is my favorite color, and I have like one yellow top. So I do actually have things that I could wear this with, so I might keep it for me, because I could actually use it. It's not my color, but this actually would come in handy for me to kind of have something to wear with those pinks. And like I said, it's speckled and it's beautiful. So it's a beautiful skein of yarn. It's just not what I would usually go for. But I love it. So that is that. That's all of the retail therapy. So, did I even say at the beginning that we were going to do retail therapy? I don't know. Anyway, so now, because this will be the last podcast episode for the year, and I think this is really funny, actually. I just noticed this because this is episode 7, and we're ending 2017, and episode 8 will be the first one of 2018. So, look at that. I didn't even try. Yeah, anyway, that's me being crazy. So, I know what I wanted to say at the beginning. I was going to say that I hope everyone has enjoyed their holiday season and has had some really relaxing time with their families. You know, even if you've had to go back to work right after the holiday, I hope everyone has been enjoying their families and kind of taking in this time of year to kind of relax and bring in a good new year. So, on that note, this is going to be kind of my end, and I'm going to use my show notes, otherwise I will forget everything that I need to say. But this is going to be kind of an end of the year special. So if you're only here for the knitting type bits, and all of this, like my resolutions, I'm only talking to you guys about my knitting ones. But if you don't want to hear all this, I will see you hopefully in a week, or maybe even a little less than a week. So yeah, let's get on with this because I've already missed an hour of football. I can hear my parents in the living room like laughing and talking and like listening to the game and stuff, and I would have it on in here, but I didn't, and the TV is not in screen, so I could have, but I didn't want to have it on just in case I was facing a certain direction. And I actually like to be able to hear the game, and I knew I wouldn't be able to do that with the podcast. So I'm going to try to get through this really quick so I can go enjoy football games today. So, since it's the end of the year, everyone usually, or not everyone, but a lot of people do like kind of a recap, and this is what I did, and blah, blah, blah. And since I've only been podcasting for a little while, and like I didn't do like box of socks this year or anything. Coincidentally, though, I think I counted 10 pairs of socks that I've done fingering weight for myself. This year I got 10. And if I finish Velvet Twig, that would be 11. And if I like finish like another Advent sock to make a pair, that would be 12. So it's totally possible, but it's not going to happen before tomorrow. and I'm not gonna try because I know I'm not gonna like just want to work on it. I have a lot of things to do. But yeah, so I almost made it. I got 10. Which, you know, I'll get into that goal for next year in a minute. But just kind of a little recap of 2017. So back in January, I I finally went to the local yarn shop that we had in when I'm at school. I live in I go to the University of Alabama, so I live in Tuscaloosa. And the local yarn shop that we had there, I finally went to them back in January and discovered a lovely group of people who I haven't seen in a while. I haven't gone a knit group this past semester, but hopefully I can get back to that in the new year. But I met those lovely people before the shop closed, and which was where I met Melissa, who has turned out to be basically my knitting best friend. So yeah, so that's really significant. And that was also when I actually got into like good yarn, you know? Like I'd had a couple skeins of it before, like 1 or 2 skeins of it before, literally not that much. But that was when I really was like, oh, I get it. Like, this is why you spend, you know, $30 on a skein of yarn. That's when that really all started. This was before I got into, like, the podcasting and the Etsy shop part of, like, side of it. But I had discovered, like, good, really good, like, quality wool, nylon yarn, and that type of thing. So that was really significant. And then, so in May, I made my first pair of socks, and basically have been obsessed ever since. Sometime back in January, actually it might have been January, I made my first shawl, or maybe not my first shawl, but like my first shawl, like pattern out of like, you know, like the good yarn, like I was just talking about. And so that was really significant, like my first like lace shawl and everything. That was awesome. And then in August, I made my first sweater. And then I made my second sweater for myself in November with my birthday sweater. So it's been a really good year. Like, it was a lot of firsts. And then in July, I found the Inside Number 23 podcast with Katie, and wow, that that in itself has sparked, you know, an entire a revolution with me. I showed you guys this. Sorry for the earthquake. I showed you guys this on the last podcast, but this is my list of podcasts to binge that I've got, like, that I still have to binge watch. These are not the ones that I, like, watch every week. I have notifications on all of those, so when they post new episodes, I just watch them every week. But these are new ones, new to me podcasts that I am going to binge watch. And you can see I'm just over here. I just finished Tea and Possibilities, and I'm watching some ones that were like new episodes for this week that were just uploaded. So after I finish that, I'm going to start another one. So yeah, podcasts were really big, and then I started my own podcast a couple months ago. So it's been great. It's been a really good year. Knitting wise, I'm not like, right now I'm not thinking like in the entire scope of the year, but knitting wise, it's been really great. So that's good. So 2018 goals, resolutions, want to do, craft all the things. Because that's basically what it is at this point. It's insane. So, and I'm just gonna like kind of be reading off of this, and so that's why I'm looking down. I'm looking at my show notes. But so, like I mentioned earlier, I mentioned both of these earlier. Me and Melissa were talking about we really want to buy more solids and tonals. For me, it's gonna be both to knit more cabled pattern socks, because I think I'm going to like doing them after I do my Arithmancy OWL. And also, like, for shawls, like I was saying, to be able to pair things together more easily, have things that, because a lot of my skeins are just a bunch of variegateds and speckles, and it's really hard to pair them with each other sometimes, because they're just all so, you know, some of them can be really wild and crazy, and there might not be something in my stash to go with them. So buying more solids and tonals will really help with that. And then I've already kind of started, though, buying more solids and tonals minis to, use with my socks, and I think that's a good start. And then also, we talked about buying more sweater quantities. Um, I won't have to, how can I say this? It might be easier, instead of always going, oh, look at this, I love this color, let me just buy one skein. Maybe sitting back and saying, like, not buying skeins as much, and then sometimes saying, this would, I would love to do a color in this, or if I know I have a project in mind, what color would I want to do that in, and then buy a sweater quantity instead. Which will help with, my garments and everything that I want to do this year. So that will help. Which, well, never mind. I'll mention it in a second. So, sorry, I'm all over the place because when I start thinking about my goals, they all kind of loop together for me. So, anyway. So next year, Kristen of the Volenvine Yarns and the Yarngasm podcast has already confirmed that there will be a box of socks cal in 2018, and I hit 10 this year, so I know I can hit 12. But why aim for 12? I literally wrote down at least 20 pairs of socks. I might take the at least off of that and just put 20 pairs of socks, like that's my goal, which I wrote at least, but I think that's going to be my goal, is just 20 pairs of socks. And out of that 20, at least 12 of them need to be fingering weight for me, because I would like to do a box of socks cal. And now that I'm thinking about that, I need to take the time to find a box. I'll have to make a trip to Michael's in the new year, but I do need to get a box for that. So, that's where my socks are headed next year. So my goal for that is to do at least one pair a month for myself. And with my Arithmancy OWL, that's 4 pairs of socks for me out of fingering weight yarn in 3 months. So in 3 months, I'll already have 4. So that's the goal, if I can finish my OWL. But anyway, so 20 pairs of socks, at least 12 for me. And I want to do 8 shawls. I had this at 4 at first, but then I changed it to 8. It's a goal. I am always pretty ambitious, but, it's just a goal. I would really like more shawls, though, because like I said, I love wearing my shawls out when it's cold, or just a little bit chilly. I love wearing shawls, so I want to make more of those for myself, and I have a lot of shawl patterns that I really want to do. So again, that kind of goes back to the sweater quantity thing. When you're buying yarns, think about, okay, well, what can I use this for that would look really nice? Or do I have a pattern? What yarn do I want to use? And just, again, with the solids and tonals even, just what yarn do I have in my stash that I would like to use for this pattern? Well, let me go find a yarn that matches this so that I can do the projects that I want to do. Yeah, so anyway, 8 shawls. And then, let's see, what am I going to talk about next? Okay, so the next one is frogging or finishing languishing whips. So I have a couch blanket that I started in 2016. Yeah, in July of 2016. I whipped through most of it in July and then sat it down and have barely worked on it. And it has maybe one more repeat of a cable pattern. I need to just finish it. I'm really tired of it being, I have this giant bin of whips in my living room that I need to finish. And it's really annoying. If I'm not going to do anything with them, and most of them are really close to being done. I have a cardigan as well that I'm halfway done with. It has 2 back ribbing panels, and you have to seam the ribbing together, and then you block. Because the way you knit it is the front, and then you knit the back and the front on both sides, and then you pick up on the back part and you knit this ribbing, and then you sew the ribbing together, you seam that together, and then you lay it out and you block all of that, and then you come back and you seam up the sides, work your sleeves, and then do the band around the cardigan. So I'm almost done. I just have to seam up the back seams, block it, and then the rest of it will be really easy. I really want that to be done because it's this beautiful brown, and like we're getting cold weather. Like I could be wearing it. I could have worn it in this you know, past few months when we've been getting fall. So I just need to finish it. I'm tired of looking at it. So yeah, I'm gonna be finishing or frogging my languishing whips because I'm tired of having like 20 whips on Ravelry when only 5 of them are current. So that's gonna happen. So let's just talk about this now. My really big one for the new year, which kind of goes along with the spring garment cowl, is that I want to knit at least 6 garments for me. So I'm just stressing for me, but I don't think I'm going to make anyone else a garment. My mom might get one maybe for Christmas. But other than that, I'm not gonna like, and even that's kind of a long stretch because she really doesn't ask for that much when it comes to my knitting. So yeah, that's the only person I could see myself like knitting a garment for besides me, because we're basically the same size, so you know, it would be just as fast. But anyway, so at least 6 garments. And so Kristen of the Yarngasm podcast is doing a super casual year of the garment knit along. You set your own goal for how many garments you want to knit, and you know, you work towards finishing that. I cannot remember who it is, but there is it's like 2018 year of the sweater, and that's kind of a knit along that's been going around on Instagram. People have been like posting what they want to do for that. I can't remember who it is. Somebody told me and I forgot. But there's also that one, so if I can find that, I might enter my garments into that one as well. So I've already, and I was saying, you know, earlier, I've got the bundle 2018 garments that I made, and I will link to that in the show notes. But the definite ones that will be made are the Rosemont cardigan, the Nautis cardigan, and I'll put these on screen. The Nautis cardigan, sorry guys, oh my gosh, my nose. The Tegna by Caitlin Hunter, the Mount Pleasant tee, and then, okay, this is not a pattern, but like I did this year, I'm going to do NaKniSweMo, National Knit a Sweater Month, which is / my birthday sweater, because my birthday's in November. I am going to do that again. I think I'm going to do that every year if I can, because it's my birthday month. Why not knit a sweater? But, so I'm going to do that again. So out of that bundle that I have for garments for next year, I will choose a sweater pattern for NaKniSweMo out of that I haven't already knit that year. So that's where that'll come from. So it'll save me some time on trying to figure out what I want to knit. And then I went through Andy Satterlin, her designs, because I really want to knit one of her patterns. I love how vintagey they kind of look with like the smaller waist and like how they're all cropped. I love that look, and I'm fortunate enough to have a smaller waist. So I really want to knit at least one of her designs. So for me, what I really want to make from her, I think, so I have written on here the Chuck, the Mary Mead, and or the Agatha. So the Chuck sweater, and then the Agatha and the Mary Mead are cardigans. And I think that for me, it will be between the Chuck sweater and the Mary Mead cardigan. The Agatha is pretty. I love it. But I'm not sure if I would want to wear like that lace down the front. I'm not sure. So it's on the list, but it might not happen. Yeah. So those are possibilities. Oh, so I think this one is going to be a definite. It is the Blanche tee, I guess. I guess you could call it a tee. But the name of the pattern is Blanche by Veronica Job, and I have 2 skeins of yarn that will work for that, based on the yardage that she says you need for the size that I would knit. I have enough. So, and like I said, there is a whole bundle. There are 17 garments in there. But these are pretty much like the 7 or 8 that I think could definitely happen. And 5 of these will be happening because I have already marked colorways for them. And then the birthday sweater will happen because it's my birthday sweater. So see, that's 6. So I think I can definitely make this happen. Like if I do one garment, like for every 2 months, it could totally happen. So there's that. And like I said, I'll link to the bundle in the show notes so you can go check out what I have if you're interested. And one of them that's in there, that's in the bundle, is the Arboreal sweater. I might not be saying that right. By Jennifer Steingass of Knit Love Wool. And no, I do not watch her podcast. We were talking about it on the VKN, but I am going to start her podcast. But anyway, so her design, the Arboreal, I don't know. I'll put it on the screen so you can see it. But that pattern, it has a colorwork yoke, and then the rest of it is just plain knitting. And she has other patterns that are colorwork, but I think most of those use 3 colors, and I just want to do like a simple 2-color colorwork. Because one of my goals for next year is to do more colorwork. And I do actually have a cowl pattern. It's called Walking for Elephants. That I'm going to do. I have the yarn for, and I'm going to start that. I've wanted to do that for a couple years for myself, and so I'm going to make that. So that'll be, I'm going to try to do like cowls and hats, kind of get my colorwork brain working, because I've done it before, but I haven't done it in a while. So I'm going to do that, and then I really want to make that sweater because it's colorwork, and I've been dying to do a colorwork yoked sweater. I'm not there yet to want to do 3 colors, but I think I can handle 2 colors. So those are my goals for next year. And like I said, these are just kind of basic goals. All of them might not happen, partway through the year. I might be like, okay, I'm just going to drop this. Because I am in college, and that takes up a lot of my time. Not only do I like have classes and homework and all that stuff, but I do work as well. I work the athletic events on campus, some of the athletic events on campus, so I am busy. So, there's only so much knitting time that I can get around sleep and school and homework, and I really want to like get back to hanging out with some of my really good friends. So, there's only so much I can do. There's only so much time. But yeah, so we'll see how that goes. But that's everything that I have for today. Like I said, I hope everyone's enjoying the holiday season, or just the winter season, or if it's summer where you are, I hope you're enjoying it. Yeah, I can't think of anything else, so I will see you guys in 2018. Bye!